Call this meeting of the Ocean Highway and Port Authority to order for Wednesday, May 10th, 11th. At 6 o'clock. We'll first do the invocation. Commissioner Cole will do the invocation. I'll do the pledge.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we do thank you for your many, many blessings. Lord, we pray that you would meet with us tonight. We give us wisdom and discernment in the actions that we take on this board. We pray now for our country and our leaders and our economy. We pray also that you would be with the people in Ukraine, also first responders and servicemen and women. And all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Come in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Hanna.
Here.
Commissioner Franklin.
Here.
Vice Chairman Cole.
Here.
Chairman Fullwood.
Present.
Thank you.
And Patrick is at a birthday party tonight for his son. Evening for that. Important. So he'll be joining us next month. All right. No speaker comments?
No.
All right. Audience comments. All right, we have a speaker tonight. Our guest speaker is Sherry Mitchell, the Executive Director of Nassau County Economic Development Board. Sherry, you're up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And good evening, everybody. I want to thank you all for your continued support with the Economic Development Board. I really want to come by and give you an update. We've been seeing a lot of activity going on, especially over at the Crawford Diamond and the Wildlife Commerce Park. I believe I distributed a packet to everybody. Okay, start with we actually finalized our strategic plan that we did last year. And out of that strategic plan, we have 4 different pillars, 2 external pillars, which are going to be a business retention and expansion. All 4 of these pillars, you're going to find metrics where we're going to be measuring all the economic development activity. The BRE program is one of the bigger initiatives that you're going to see. That is going to be for business retention expansion. So what we've done is we put together, we collaborated with partners throughout the county that included planning from the county office. We did a tourism development center, the chamber, small business development center, FSCJ, career source, and then somebody from the economic development board. And the purpose of this BRE program is to retain the businesses that are already here. So offering any kind of services that any of the businesses are seeking, any training dollars that they may not be aware of, customized type of training. If they need help navigating through the process of expanding. So we've got everybody right there. And that's, we actually have already held our first event a couple months back, and we had over 51 businesses in the county. So we are scheduled to do another one, and we're going to have that. We're holding that one over on the west side of the county in the fall. We're real excited about that, and we're getting great feedback from the businesses here. This is going to be under the business retention and expansion. This is where this is going to be measured. So what we put together is the SBDC impact. The NCEDB funds the Small Business Development Center here in Nassau County. So we do calculate the services that Jody provides to all the businesses here in the county. So we've got that broken down. We've also partnering with Career Source. They've got the most recent numbers on unemployment, how many employers have been served in Nassau County, how many job seeker visitors. So this is another great tool that we're really proud of. Through the business surveys, a lot of you may have received some of those, but we have reached 51 different businesses through the surveys, and that's really surveying the businesses, trying to find out what their workforce needs are, that we can help them address a lot of that. Rural Counties Day. Oh, did I skip one? Hang on. Business recruitment and marketing. I spoke of the 4 different pillars. The 4 different pillars, this is going to be the second one, the BRN, business recruitment and marketing. The Rural Counties Day, this is an event that we have started doing. We're going to start doing this annually. This is a trip to Tallahassee. Rural Counties Day, we are proud to represent the west side of the county. So we have got Hilliard and Callahan memorabilia. We sign up and we network with a lot of the other rural counties in the state. This was a great event because we were able to actually hit the halls and have an event, attend the event with Senator Bean. What we did is we actually took the appropriations, submitted everything that the city of Fernandina Beach put together, the county, and the town of Hilliard. So we kind of had all those bills that they were supporting, and that was one of our leave behinds when we were able to hit the halls and visit with the legislators. So that was a great, great event, and we'll be doing it, like I said, annually, I believe in January every year. Okay, here's one of our report cards on the economic development metrics. We're starting to measure absolutely everything that we are doing. And this is a breakout of jobs by the industry that you'll see in Nassau County. On the right, you'll see the prospects by source. How are we learning about these folks that are coming to us? We have got a total of 15 projects. Underneath, we kind of broke it down by stages. So that means site visits. I've done 11 site visits. We've had 12 responses coming back and forth with the prospects. And the correspondence is the same. And we typically are working with Jax USA, EFI, FPL, and then directly with the prospect themselves. And then qualified, good fit for Nassau, only 7 of them, because a lot of these folks are looking for something that's got a little bit more, the infrastructure is already there. So we have lost a few for that purpose. And then we currently have 5 active projects, which I'll go into on the next slide. Okay, this is going to be the update. This is one of the things that we share with our board. And I will go down. Harmony is a beverage manufacturer. This manufacturer has been looking at the Crawford Diamond area for the past 2 years. We've met with them several times. And to be honest, they just recently put in an LOI for FPL, which is huge. That's the first time it's happened on my watch. I've been here almost 5 years. So I feel like we're making some progress there. So we're real excited about that. Project Orbit is the aerospace aviation. They've been working with Fernandina Beach Airport down there. Zanzibar is a data center. That's another business that's actually looking at Crawford Diamond. They're the second one that just put in a LOI to FPL as well. So things are really happening out there on the Diamond. And then Reliant Forza Water Sports is actually a business, a rental business is actually, we've been helping them navigate funding. And they're going to be opening up a spot actually later this month, if not May, June, definitely. Rentals down there on the marina. And then lastly, we have got Reliant Logistics, a great logistics company over there on US 1 in Callahan. But they are actually only going to bring, it's 17 to 20 jobs, but still a good size for that location.
Sherry, what is the Harmony, what beverages are they going to be manufacturing?
Don't know that.
Okay.
So I will let you know definitely. So when that does come through, I will absolutely share that information. But yeah, that is a great one there. I know this, they're coming out of New York, and phase 1, they're going to have 400 jobs. And when they get acclimated, and when they do choose Nassau County, and it looks like they've only, they're actually coming back for another visit on the 7th of June. And so when they're doing that visit, of course, Jax USA is going to be involved, as well as FPL. I'm trying to get them to come down and fly into Fernandina Beach Airport. And so we can just showcase the island and have them, take them to dinner out there. So I'm really working hard on that one. I'll tell you more about that. Another portion of those 4 pillars that I spoke about is going to be the PRC, Public Relations and Communications. This is where we've been putting together presentations, pointing out into the community, and really just sharing what our role is in the community, letting them know what NCEDB is and kind of giving them an update on the kind of growth that we're seeing. SRS is one of the most important ones, our sustainable revenue source. So what we've done is we've kind of tagged everybody, somebody from my board that has agreed to chair each of these 4 initiatives that I'm talking about. And this is going to be where NCEDB used to do an investor appreciation event at the end of the year. We're bringing that back. And we've got other goals that we've kind of set with that. And so we've got Carmen North, who is sitting on our board as a vice chair. We had a great meeting yesterday, bringing this event back and really trying to not only maintain our budget, but really increase our investors and stakeholders and, reach out to other folks as well as the most current ones that we've been working with. And then lastly, here's a goals and metrics from the 4 pillars that I spoke about. So what we've done is we've branched out to our board, and there is somebody on our board that chairs each of these. So we have put together a starting number. We're starting at the beginning of each of our fiscal year. And you've got the current number, our goal number below. And so we are going past our budget, actually, it looks like. So we're real proud of that. And lastly, here are a list of our investors or key stakeholders. We could not do what we've been able to do without the help from these folks and you guys. So I want to thank you all, and I appreciate your giving. I know you guys have contributed $3,000, and that would be my ask for this year as well. Anybody have any questions? Sir?
There's Reliant Trucking Logistics in Callahan. Where they located?
You know where the diesel mechanic is, right there on US 1, right next door, right at that lot, right in front of it, next door to it.
About beside Diesel Powerhouse?
Diesel Powerhouse, yeah.
And they're located north of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking to Mark Ellison, and I'll send you the stats on that. He is, yeah, they're well on their way. I was by there the other day and met them there, and so they're excited.
They bought that lot. Okay, they just going in there. I said,
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I go in there, but never went.
All right.
Uh,
That's a good fit for that. It's a good fit for Callahan, we'll take 17, 18 jobs.
Oh,
Something like that. So
What are we looking at with the infrastructure now, profit?
the infrastructure is, I've actually reached out to, and for those of you that don't know, what we've done is we have applied on behalf of Town of Callahan for an additional grant that would provide an expanding water plant out there, because the users are going to use a significant amount of water out there, obviously. So what we've done is we got with the county, and the county has actually committed a portion of their ARPA funds to match this grant. So it's a $12 million project. So what we've done, the Town of Callahan's putting up $4 million, so is the BOCC. And so we're now waiting, I put it in with a DEO, so we're now waiting for the governor to sign off on it. So I keep calling, and I know I'm a thorn in their side because I call weekly. Last thing, I had reached out to Senator Bean, and I asked, would you please provide a support letter and just in support of this, kind of push it to the finish line. So he did that, and we got a great support letter from him to the governor. And when I last spoke with Harmony, because we've been on calls with them regularly, and DEO was telling Harmony's contact that he doesn't seem to think that that's going to be a problem. So I would be more comfortable when the announcement is out that we have been awarded and they've signed on the dotted line. So we don't seem to think it's an issue. That's where we are with that.
Anyone? Gary, I'm sure you're aware, we're in the process of trying to hire an executive director. And he's probably going to be working closely with you.
Yes, sir.
We expect some good things to come out of that.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it.
And I've asked this question since Economic Development Board has been here. What are you doing for us? I know you're developing businesses, but we need bonding people to use our bonding.
And really, yes, sir. And I appreciate that, Chairman, because it was this year, last year, when Mike and you told me about that. So when I am speaking to these companies that are looking, I do have a packet and I'll share that with you. So I did put in the availability because so many folks are unaware that our report even offers that. So yeah, I speak regularly to FPL. So I work so closely with them just because that's where a lot of the activity is going on Crawford Diamond, but also with Mike Kahaj. So he is the one that's doing Radiant, so over at Wildlight. And I share that with Colliers as well, who's marketing that piece for them.
I mentioned to this board last month that through Enterprise that we have over 15 projects that
Right.
we handle down, that are looking at us. So we're using lit.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I do have that as an added bonus if they don't, like I said, are flat out unaware of.
How do you devise your 5-year strategic plan? How do you set goals?
We actually, when we were putting this together, we're in year 2. And so we call this a workable strategic plan. And so we were waiting for this first year to kind of see so we can make more accurate projections. So this is really a pilot year, if you would, in that beginning, because I don't believe that we've done a 5-year plan like that. So all the work that was put into that, we kind of let that open. Our board's like, you know what, we have to go back in there and tweak that. Let's see where we are at the end of this fiscal year. And so that's where the goals we pull the goals out of that. And the way we put that strategic plan together is we actually pulled the county's comprehensive plan and pulled out the economic development elements out of that. And then what has happened in the past with the Economic Development Board, the Nassau Tomorrow campaign that was done years ago, and the initiatives that Laura had rolled out as well. So yeah, we've considered all that.
We're doing our own comprehensive planning. And so it's, you can benchmark based on your competition, or you can, look at the past, but it's difficult.
It really is.
I know you're probably going to be wrong. That's what I think.
Yeah, so that's why we were discussing that, our board really is one of the reasons why we want to say, you know what, let's get through this one fiscal year where we're actually able to roll out these initiatives and where we're going to see what's going to stick and what's going to work. And so that's been helpful, and I look forward to wrapping it up with the accurate numbers and seeing where we are with our goals.
Yeah, I think the survey of the public and then buy-in from the chamber, getting that type of feedback helps. You have such a great, line of communication with local businesses and the stakeholders that's invaluable to have that type of feedback in this process.
Definitely, it is. You know what? I am glad you brought that up, Commissioner, because one of the other key elements through this strategic plan goals, I'll say, is to start collaborating with everybody, all the different entities, and avoid working in silos, working to see there's so many different nonprofits, offering repetitive services throughout the county. So we do hone in on that and watch that, try to partner closer, with the chamber, the TDC, and everybody else. And it's working out well so far.
So are folks from RSH, are you involved, listed as our stakeholders? I forgot if she was on this.
Yes, you.
I've met.
So you've reached out, or they've reached out to you?
I've met with them.
Yeah, we've had a meeting. They now want to talk to. Good meet.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Jerry, thank you so much for being here and for
Thank
the
you.
presentation. We really enjoyed it, and keep it informed.
Yes, sir.
Keep working on it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, is Mr. McClure in the audience? Is Mr. McClure here? Okay. All right, court attorney report, he will not be here tonight, so we don't have a report for him. Court account report. Pierre, you're up.
So
I'm sorry.
What about on minutes?
We'll do the minutes. All right, we can do that.
I mean.
Yeah.
Stay in
For
line.
some reason, I didn't have them on my agenda. I don't know why. All right, minutes. Approval of minutes.
I did have a couple revisions. Okay, this is on the 13th on page 4. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. I requested the lease revenue information, not information about the goods in the warehouse.
Lease information.
What revenue from warehousing? And then page 5, the second to last paragraph, where it says Commissioner Hill assured, I had asked to confirm whether or not they were going to meet with the commissioner, whether that was complete. I don't think I assured it because that would have been. But I like the use of all of these great vocabulary words. On the 13th, also on page 8, number 10, it says, I reiterated that there was no deadline. I just pointed that out. I don't think that's a good thing. So that wasn't coming from me. I was asking if the board was going to set a deadline. We needed to establish one. So that's all the revisions for that. So it's, I didn't have anything.
Okay. I made a motion to accept the minutes as advised.
I make the motion to accept the minutes. Wait now.
Okay. Right.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to accept the revised minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried unanimously. Okay. Second, say. Regular meeting minutes, April 27th. Motion approved, made and seconded to approve the meeting for April 27th. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried unanimously. All right. Financial, any other questions about that? Financial report now.
So you have the treasurer's report in your package.
Yes.
Nothing unusual to report, caught up on quarterly fees for the rear. And said nothing else. Normal activity. Nothing unusual to report. Next page is the collector's house. Just utilities. Water and electric for the collector's house. So, and finally, the balances in the accounts. We've submitted the January through March payroll for October reimbursement, so we're waiting on $37,000. And now we're working on the master plan reimbursement. We'll have that done this week, next week. See, there's 4 reports that are due also. Working on, so. All that needs to be, so we're working on all that. So as I said, the ones we're working on now are the, like I said, to start the process, remember, so we have a 50% match grant for the master plan. And so spent approximately 90,000. We're submitting first reimbursement. That's my report.
All right, the request for the next reimbursement is for 37,000.
That's for January, February, March payroll.
Gotcha.
Obviously,
Yeah,
we said we're
March.
essentially doing those quarterly, so.
Yeah.
We'll do April, May, June, you know, basically at the start of July. So
How long has it been since the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol paid rent?
a year and a half. I have to go back and look.
A year and a half.
They stopped in the middle of, yeah. And obviously, we don't have any budget in there this year. So definitely at least prior, sometime last year, I think, but I have to go back and exactly.
Chris, do you know if they pay rent in Jacksonville?
No, we don't.
Under the United States Code, they do not pay rent, but they provide services for free, provided that the Port Authority provides appropriate,
Right.
up to code
Yeah.
office space.
Nowhere in the state.
But they,
Yeah.
so in Jacksonville, don't they have like a shared office space with another federal agency? Like, I think it's the Coast Guard.
Possible, I'm actually not familiar with their office. We have, I think, a potential vision to have a shared facility with OPA at the port and USCBP.
Is a fee charged to the customers related to their inspections, related to the Border Patrol?
Well, duties and fees are paid to clear the cargo, all cargo, like freight forwarders and freight brokers. Customs then performs, they do have 2 functions. They have certain cargo inspection functions, but they also have the manifest of individuals, the workers on the ships, because we are a border entry point. So they may be a charge to the ship that the vessel agent might have to deal with. But typically, we have nothing to do with charging for the customs service.
So there's no revenue stream.
No. Unfortunately. But we do get their services free. That's what that's a right on. Not sure it's fair, but it's there. Pierre, ZPMC, are we up to date with that? No, they're waiting on the government to
Submitted to,
reimburse us.
that we prepared to receive the last one, set CPUC.
Right.
And so then we set for reimbursement to the state of Florida. And now we're waiting for that. There's a few $123,000 invoice left.
So
So
they take their time.
as soon as we get the money, we'll flow it through, then obviously make the payment and submit for reimbursement.
Okay, any questions for Pierre?
Here, since it's a statutory, like, prohibition on charging rent, should we take the rental income line item off? Or,
You know, obviously that's from historical, how we presented it, you know, and whether we just roll Custom House into the main report now, you know, just kept it there. Because obviously if there's extraordinary spending, if there's repairs and stuff like that, just to highlight a little bit more. I mean, certainly could go into the main report as another section.
I like it.
So,
At one time, we had some bills that got our wages. Waterman and electric bill.
and did we pass that on?
No,
No.
Well, we were getting more rent.
go back
When we were charging rent, we were getting more rent than
Yeah.
cost, even with the higher budget. So, but that would give capital repairs like that. Right now, that was all
We was getting rid of 25. I think 25 on them up, 24.
You're paying for everything associated with Customs House now, right?
That's correct.
Yep.
Cutting both the customs one and also the 2 lots.
Yeah.
Both 2 lots.
Okay, any other questions?
So all these expenses here are our expenses?
Okay.
Okay.
So we're still pay the.
You're talking about the reimbursement,
Not the
the
electric.
1,000.
Yeah, no, we paid electric and water.
Okay,
Well, he's paying all the maintenance.
Yeah.
All the,
so the total expenses year to date, 4,600, but we've been reimbursed, and that first line item that says reimbursements, that's for worldwide. Would love to see OPA have offices there. And I know Rosanna would love to have
Absolutely.
a space that she can use.
Believe me, we're working on that. I can't divulge what that is now, but there are discussions, so hopefully we can come back soon with something more concrete. Because Customs and Border emails us every month asking about the Customs houses
We're on the clock.
around, yeah. So they're interested also, but they don't help us much looking for funds or anything like that, but yeah, they're very interested. Okay, any other questions? All right, Chris, you want to do your report?
We don't have to take that.
In the hunt there. You know, right, pretty well.
Absolutely.
New high water mark for the month, surpassing in January of 2022, which was 51,546 tons. April, 57,877 tons. 10 vessels off. That's impressive. We're running 35,636 tons ahead of year to date last year.
Good thing. Good.
But the best work we've had since the steel, and I think steel was only 60,000.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm impressed with your memory. That's the best month we've had since, you know, we've been here 4 years.
2011, I think.
I can look that up for you, but I think
July
you're probably right.
2011, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Does I hold that deal?
What's that?
Do I hold that to be true?
Well, like I said, it sounds about right. We can always look it up.
Yep, I think it is.
Good job, good.
Keep it coming. And the lucky one is gone.
Lucky mama, yes. We have documented evidence of her leaving the channel.
Yes, I saw the picture.
It's not the same coming in every day without her sitting there. We're glad to.
Gone.
And we only had 19 trucks per day?
They're actually down, only 19 trucks per day.
One of the firewood trucks today that was covered.
Well, they think of it.
Covered in bulk.
Well, we've been doing some direct deliveries from the port, meaning those trucks are long haul out to Indiana and the Midwest. So the shipper requires them to use the TARs, which is obviously better because you have no debris whatsoever.
Thank you. All right, any questions about the county's report? Chris?
It costs money and, for the tarps and for labor to put them on, and nobody wants to pay it. And it's a lot of money, hundreds of dollars per truck.
Just because, it sounds like the plywood has come off, like several of the trucks, pieces of plywood just sound dangerous.
Well, they're not pieces of plywood, they're it's a thin, like a bamboo sheet on each side of the plywood that's under the straps, and it's supposed to be secured, but on a windy day, every once in a while, pieces of that break off. So we advise the shippers that they have to do a better job with the packaging. But unfortunately, the plywood we're seeing now was loaded back in January, so it takes time for this to have an effect. And we're also keeping an eye on the neighborhood whenever any of our people see any plywood debris, to make sure we pick it up.
Wes got a question about trucks. I was informed that one of the flatbeds went down Center Street. I know they use GPS, and for some reason, I guess the GPS is turning in on Center Street.
No, I think we've solved that problem. That was a truck coming to the port. We played around with GPS and we found a better address to give them, and that's been working.
But this was recent.
This fellow left the port and went the wrong way. And he didn't work for us. He's an outside contractor driver. And I actually didn't get any reports, but obviously my guys told me about it. He basically got lost down there, and I'm hoping it wasn't any damage, but I haven't heard anything one way or the other.
Why would security, knowing he's going the wrong way, stop him?
Well, they try. What can they do but yell after him? Once that guy starts pulling out, the truck is loud and,
Okay.
people make
Loud,
mistakes.
the windows up,
Yeah,
and you got a rough road,
and loud the stereo on and,
railroad track back to side.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do.
Okay. Let's talk about the tariff. Got anything on the tariff yet?
I have completed my markup, and rather than share it at a late date before tonight, I'm not necessarily sure everybody wants to read through. I know certainly you want to read through the 40 pages, but I'm hoping we're going to have some news on port director, executive director tonight. And I really would like to sit down, if it's going to be with Dave and go through it, get his input. And then perhaps he might even be willing to make recommendations to the board. In other words, engage a little bit more on it. So if that's going to happen tonight, then that'll be the first order of business next week.
Well, I'm not sure when he's going to come on board, if at all. We'll have to make the decision still. I'm pretty hopeful about it. But,
Well, if not, then I could just send it directly. As I said, I've completed my markup, but obviously there's going to be input from the board. We've already given rates with a comparative chart, so we should be able to finish this up next meeting.
okay.
Either way.
We're going to approve something next meeting.
Yeah.
It's the old one or the new one.
All right, fair enough.
Just letting you know ahead of time.
We haven't included it, but I will point out to the board that under the operating agreement, the Ocean Highway Port Authority issues a tariff with the approval of the contract. It used to be the other way around. So you'll decide what you want in there, and unless we have a strenuous objection, then we would tend to go along.
I think we have
It's your tariff.
that we wanted the benefits to be included. I think we'd like to reach that consensus.
We have the tugboat rates. We know what they are. I don't know if we need to include them in the tariff, but if that's what everybody wants, then that's what we can do. But that's something we can address when we get the tariff and see the red line. Because we still haven't approved it. But we can, the majority says we're in.
Do we have consensus to go in there?
You got it, Roman.
It's in there. I mean, it's- Is that a vote?
Okay. I'll put it in there somewhere.
We do.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
All right, hold up, Chris, don't leave yet. Oops, I got a whole list of things. Security contract,
Yes,
I know you sent that out today,
yeah,
and we'll get, that quick, we'll look at it, and then we'll get an RFQ and get it out by very soon.
yes.
I'm not gonna give a lot of time for that to go out. I know, there are three companies already looking,
Good, okay, yeah, you don't need that.
so, it shouldn't take long to get some.
He has what he needs now with that document.
Yeah.
In my-
He's gonna be on vacation next week, so he won't be around, but maybe by next meeting, we can have that sent out and get some feedback. June the first meeting in June. Yes.
I haven't gotten a fine tooth comb, but I did see something about 27. So you may not want to, I'm not.
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, you may not want to talk about what's.
I don't know what that means on the sign.
That was the old get smart.
Basically, you're saying what's to talk with anyone that's going to.
Oh, no.
I'm not giving you legal advice, but I just did see that.
Well, I wasn't gonna name any names.
Okay, well, you just wouldn't want to talk with them.
No, I'm certainly not. We will be out soon. All right, the warehouse, we talked about the warehouse, the fire suppression system in the warehouse. I talked with the fire chief. We just had an inspection done,
Mhm.
and it passed the inspection. Yeah, I know, I got it too.
Quarterly inspection.
WWK, but my question, this is an old system.
Yes.
And it's about time it needs replacing.
Yes.
I mean, it would be a good thing to do that. When we look for an I'm sorry, when we look for a grant, maybe FDOT would have a grant.
We actually have recorded this for several years running on CTIP, as our, whoever's gonna be the port director will see, and we want to put that to the top of the list. I think it should be a strong candidate for a 50% grant, and then we can get it taken care of.
Good. I think it needs to be taken care of because it's failed so many times. I mean, it works.
Well, we spend a lot more money maintaining it
Then we
constantly.
pay on the grant.
Sure, yeah.
So we need to have a good system in there, make sure it works, and all this failure all the time, just we need to get rid of all that problem. This one's been around since let's see,
More than
1990s.
Yeah.
That's a long time. 31 years. 1991. Wow. Okay.
It's a question like that, or like 50 years or 100.
Well, with maintenance, most of the pipes and valves have probably been replaced at least once, if not more, but overall, it would be good to update the system.
Deadline of the city or no? Or an inspection? Whenever the inspector came out and irrigation.
No, I talked to the fire chief. He said he didn't need to inspect it because it was just inspected by WWK.
Yeah.
They do an inspection. How often they?
Quarterly. Every quarter,
Quarterly
we
inspection.
file it with the fire chief, and then he comes out and does at least one, if not two, annual inspections. So we maintain full transparency with him. He knows that we're on top of it, but we all agree it's an aging system, and we look to
I've
provide
got
a
a
replacement.
letter that the fire chief sent me out. I'll make sure Rosanna passes it out to everybody so they can see what he says and got all the inspection reports.
I don't think I've seen that letter, so Rosanna can pass it to us.
And then you've got a sprinkler inspection certificate from WWK.
Yeah, they are highly respected.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that was warehouse number 2.
That's correct.
All right. Any questions about that?
Any update from communitylink.com?
I don't have any.
Draft grant agreement. Did we get something from FDOT to say we needed to do a sign agreement?
Right, it looks good. It's really just allowing us to move that 204,000 and use it inside the terminal so we can apply it to the fabric warehouse.
Yeah, I sent that to you and asked you if
Yeah,
it was okay, so I can sign it.
Yes.
Get it in. Very good. Anything else, Chris? All right, thanks, sir. Unfinished business? Smith and Hill. Duncan. How are you, sir?
Good. It's everyone
Good to
again.
see you again. Welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Glad to have you back on board.
Yes, sir.
What you got for us?
Yeah, so we are, after a couple months delay, we're back underway. We are moving along, getting to the point where we've got a lot of our due diligence done, and reached out to many around the community thus far. So next steps, you'll start to see some meetings for the stakeholder meetings, and as well as getting a public workshop scheduled, be a stakeholder meeting. We're hoping to schedule it right before the next monthly meeting next month in June, and then a public workshop middle to end of June sometime. So those would be the next kind of big milestones we're working towards.
Have you decided where you're gonna have your first stakeholder meeting?
We'd like to have it over actually at your offices over here.
John Drew's place?
Yeah.
Tax.
Yeah, that one, if that's,
Yeah.
if that works for you guys.
What time of day?
About 4 p.m. is what we're
How
thinking.
long will it take?
An hour probably.
I might want to do it at 3:30.
Okay.
Because
Three.
close at 5 o'clock, we can't stay after 5.
Okay, 3 o'clock.
Unless we pay somebody to stay.
Sure. We'll wrap up 4 or 5.
Okay.
So we'll start at 3. That works.
Yeah.
Does anybody need to coordinate that with, or there's?
Just send it through those down and we'll get back to you.
So not this week. So that on the calendar.
So initially you were talking about doing it closer to the port. Is there a reason why you?
This would be just a small stakeholder meeting, the public workshop we would want to be out here in the community. We talked about Wicked Bow, it's right there, kind of a nice casual setting. It may not be big enough to support what we would expect to come out, so we may look for a different facility, but we definitely want that to be somewhere in the community.
We just like food.
Food is great. It is good. So,
How many people do you expect at the stakeholder meeting?
the stakeholder meeting, we've got 11 on the stakeholder
Right.
committee, so if everybody shows up, it would be 11. So,
It's public, it's a public meeting, so if there's a lot of response and interest, that's a small room. The tax stuff we're talking about.
yeah, that's,
Standing room only, but not bad for you. What about you?
yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think it's not big enough, we could try to do something else.
Where, unless we did it at the college.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, please.
Certainly, we want to be transparent with everything we're doing in this plan. Stakeholder meeting is intended to be one of the technical folks that can help provide us with guidance as opposed to the public providing input. So unless there's more than one commissioner being there or more than 2 city council members, for example, I don't know that it is required to be a public meeting or public advertising. As opposed to the community meeting where we really are encouraging the community now to give their feedback. A lot of the stakeholder environment is one that's going to be a lot of
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're right about. Public notice. There, it doesn't have to be that kind of meeting, because you don't have 2 commissioners or.
I was going to have one person from each committee, basically, or each agency, so that there wasn't that problem. So, and then you know, that would be used to kind of vet some ideas amongst the people who have an interest in what's going on before it's publicly available, but then everything, you know, in a public works, share any ideas that came out of that that were agreed to or sharing, so.
Sherry could probably help us find a place if we needed it.
Absolutely, just give the place, I just texted that to you.
Oh,
I mean, I don't really see the issue with having it public. I don't know what you're planning to present. It doesn't sound like there's gonna be
it's a
anything.
stakeholder meeting, right?
It's like.
But it's not,
Because I would like to
Right.
be there. And so if any other commissioner wanted to be there, I mean, we're not gonna take official action. but-
we have a stakeholders list. And then we have one commissioner that's on that list and he's representing us. So in the stakeholders meeting, you can't be there. That's what the stakeholder
Yeah.
meeting is all about,
If, you know,
just to throw ideas out.
if there's, I think if it gets too big, it can kind of impact the effectiveness of what we would be doing. So I recommend to keep it to the 11th, but
And that's what we're gonna do. No, not stakeholders.
Necessary.
What you're having them to do. And then the public meetings, we'll have a bigger place. And
right. And then, I mean, it's
anybody
anybody.
can come.
Here, how much have we spent so far in last year? $90,000. And we are talking about, you know, in addition, hiring your consultant as a director. And I just, at this point, we haven't seen anything from the process, and I know that you all are best in class. I don't mean to insinuate that you're doing anything wrong, but we spent $90,000 and haven't really gotten anything for it yet. And so I just would like to see something or be able to be a fly on the wall, even if we're not going to take action. I think it's only responsible to, you know, see some sort of progress on what we're paying for. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say that.
So understandable. There's a lot of time that goes in up front to gather information and go into kind of the decision making for itself. That's what the majority of the time has been spent on at this point. We've got pieces of the draft report that are coming together right now and would expect to be able to share that, you know, for input. Probably just after this first couple of meetings to get, you know, once we have gathered some additional info from stakeholders, from the public, get that in the report, then we have something to show you. I mean,
You've got to gather enough information to be able to get.
right, to show
In order
you,
to make it worthwhile. Now, how many people have you actually met with so far? A lot.
many, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number, double digits of
Yeah.
people in the city.
And that's where that money's coming from. They get paid for their time and things are put together.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there'll be representation from OVA at that meeting to talk about what. Thank you, guys.
Their new business, let me get rid of this one first. Port Council meeting, there's a Port Council meeting coming up. FDOT has scheduled a meeting between port directors and the new FDOT Secretary Jared Perdue. The meeting is going to be held in Tallahassee on Monday, June the 6th at 2 p.m. Depending on who's available, if we have an executive director by then, he will go. If not, either myself or Mike will attend. Be at FDOT headquarters in Tallahassee, and it's an informal meeting. But the secretary has stressed that he wants to meet with the port directors as a group and continue the excellent partnership between FDOT and the seaports. So that's what that meeting will be all about, and somebody from here will attend. All right, now, executive director proposal. Everybody has that? Copy of that? Look at it real quick. This is Pierre, myself, and Patrick worked on this for a few weeks now, since the last meeting, actually. We met with David. We talked by ourselves together. And emailed back and forth, emailed with David, talking to David, trying to get this into a hopefully acceptable contract. It's got the contract term. Any questions about that? It's got the compensation package, what office space will provide, and administrative support. I'll go over this quickly. Contract term is 2 years with automatic renewals, unless 60 days notice provided by either party.
Three.
I'm sorry, it's 3. It should be 3 there. 3 years.
Oh, 1 year, 1 year.
2. 1.
1 year start,
I got
2
it.
years.
You can read it. I can't read it.
3 years.
Yeah. Renewals will also be based on funding availability and annual performance review. Compensation package. We went back and forth with this, and I think we ended up with something that we can afford and we can hopefully agree to. Annual salary would be $130, guaranteed, no medical, dental, vision, retirement benefits provided. Salary increases and or bonuses will be subject to OPA approval, contingent upon executive director meeting certain performance criteria and organizational objectives that will be developed and mutually agreed to between the executive director and OPA, and that will be in the contract. Executive director performance and satisfaction of objectives will be subject to annual review by OPA to be completed no later than August of each year. Annual Business Development Association membership expense account. We think it's important that he has an expense account for traveling and meeting with people, reimbursement up to $5,000 to be evaluated by yearly, every year with input from the executive director, subject to OPA board approval. All business travel must be pre-approved by OPA board. OPA will reimburse pre-approved travel expenses that are documented with verified receipts. Office space, he's going to be using the tax collector's office space we have. He can work from home remotely if he so desires, if he needs to, or he can come into the office and work. I'm sure he'll be doing a lot of work around the county. Let's see, he needs necessity for other additional office space for executive director to be revisited prior to commencement of second year with input from executive director, subject to OPA board approval. Rent for office space will be subject to revenues generated by the executive director. So he's got to make some money. Administrative support, we're going to increase Rosanna's weekly hours by 10 hours to help with his office communications and his paperwork and those things like she does for us. After the first year, increase in office manager hours will be revisited and input from executive director and office manager subject to OPA board approval. I really think we should hire full-time, but that's what's in here right now. OPA to provide computer, office supplies, and other business-related equipment. Executive director to utilize his own cell phone at executive director's expense. That's what we have in the term sheet as of right now. Comments?
How many hours is road that I put in now?
20 hours a week.
Let's put it at 30.
Input, Commissioner?
Is it agreeable by all parties?
Yes.
Okay. I'm good.
So how did you come up with the salary?
Well, we started at one, he offered one, we started at another, and we got him at the middle.
Okay, did you compare it to any other boards or any other public
Fear,
manager positions?
help,
No, not specifically, because obviously the size of the port is hard.
right,
You know, you can't compare to Jack's port.
No.
Which ports do we compare to? Different setups of those ports and things like that. This is what we did. We look at a broad study by, I can send it to you.
Yeah.
Salary study of manager levels and things like that in the southeast and in Jacksonville and things like that. And so how much does a manager level person, and these are kind of in those ranges. So, you know, again, we don't have a direct benchmark for another port in this kind of position. Obviously, there's no employees in this position. So I think that's where, you know, setting the expectations for this job and making sure that, you know, part of this has been making sure we have goals for the person and clear direction and things like that, and clear benchmark of so that we're getting what we want for our money.
and in the contract term, you can see that it's a yearly contract, basically. And we'll revisit every year. If he's bringing in a lot of money for us, we can talk about increasing salary. If he's not,
Oh, but all right. Hey, gotta go.
yeah,
But you know, that's actually a low amount of capital for that.
we based a lot of it on the funds we have available. So,
But
and
we
he
got these
understands.
results, you know.
Yeah.
So we should.
I'd like to pay him 150, 160, but we just can't do it because of where the money's coming from. We have to space it out. He understands that, and he's okay with it. I think it's a good, agreeable term. I like all the other things in here. Now, we only need to review, comment and provide consensus on the term sheet. No formal vote is required tonight. If the board agrees that the terms are generally acceptable, a contract will be drafted for your formal review and vote at a subsequent board meeting. So we still have to put the contract together. Patrick and David will do that. And then it'll be presented to us for final approval. So all we're doing tonight is agreeing that these terms are acceptable to us, and then we'll move forward on a formal contract.
Acceptable with us, you know, and again, the office space, you know, he's gonna be working very rarely in the office if we go out in the field.
Yeah, yeah.
That is expensive, you know, that's $5,000 a year or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that gonna be enough expense?
Well, we don't know. It depends on where it has to go. I don't think so. It may not be, but let's start there. If we need to do something different, then we can come back and increase it.
Just like this sports council meeting, we goes it for 2 days, that'd be,
Well over $1,000. Room and board and food and everything else, travel.
Well, we got to approve all that stuff as it goes
Yeah.
along.
we have to
you just have to eat light, think you can sleep. And
Yeah, exactly.
if you got a Geo. But I mean, I think the 5,000 we got low, but again, we do need to see better.
Yeah,
We need to vote on, we will make a
we
motion.
need to, I'd like to have a motion on approving the term sheet. And we'll, if that's approved, we'll send it to Patrick and we will meet with David and come up with a contract.
I'll make a motion to move forward. For our.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the term sheet. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. David, welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Still got no more. Yeah. Thank you. Now the hard work starts. And as soon as you can get with Patrick, let's get that done. Just get it together and give us plenty of time to look over the contract. All right. Now I have a question for you. I know until you get on board with us and we start paying, you're gonna remain with Run Smith and Hill.
That's right.
Okay, and then as soon as you're cutting the thing, but that's a conflict. Yeah. Okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
do we have an idea of Dave's targeted start date? I'll tell you why. They've opened up the CSIP request period, and we've got to get working with Dave on the capital improvement plan to be submitted this year. And of course, that needs to be done by your representative.
Well, I know we can get this done by the next meeting. When is the deadline for the CSIP?
Oh, we have time until probably mid to late June, but I don't want to let too much time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get this done in our second meeting this month. Because we certainly need him on board to start working.
I agree with that. Usually, quickly, I would like to have some type of conclusion of what he did with RSNH, something to sort of tie that up before he starts in this other role, just because to me, it's not, again, we spent $90,000 on the plan and now we're committing, another full-time employee. This is a big deal. We haven't taken a step like this in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know ever. And so I think we need to just make sure that, we get off on the right foot.
Did you do that, Dave? Absolutely. I just want to say, I've been pushing for this for years, and we just never had the funding, no way to finance it. Now we have a little bit of funding, at least for the next 3 years, hopefully. Things go right. And beyond that, he's going to have to produce for us. And if he does that, hopefully we can keep him on permanent. He knows what the challenges are, and I have every confidence that he'll bring some business to Oakland. He'll be working with Chris to help bring some business to the port, if possible, and especially to Oakland, because that's why we're hiring him as our executive director and not port director. I've had that term in my head for forever. I didn't want to have a port director. I wanted an executive director for Oakland Board, and that's what we're going to get. All right, very good. Moving on.
But this board, the main job is the court.
Yeah, absolutely.
The main job, the main focus is the court.
Right, but we have a port operator that takes care of that part, and executive director that works for us and helps also Chris. All right. Any other comments before I get into committee reports? All right. The committee report, court security, I don't have anything for that. Everything No, that was last month. Never mind. They never did find that guy, did they?
Not as far as
No,
I
I
know.
don't think they have.
Don't.
FDOT, I just talked about the meeting, FDOT meeting, and we have a video conference 1st of June, somewhere around there. Somewhere in there. Customs House, Commissioner Frank, do you got anything?
The windows still hasn't came in and they expected them in
Any day now.
any day, at
Any
first
day.
of June, that Danny told them, just the other day that they should wrap it up in June.
Yes.
But we heard they should wrap it up in March, but, I mean, May, but, get stuff.
Maybe on schedule all over the country.
What about the cleaning paper? Did they put someone in there?
Or what?
The cleaning people?
Yeah, they've got somebody. The company hired somebody up. Okay. The next thing is the Corps of Engineers. Corps of Engineers sent me an examination survey of the harbor that they did. And it's pretty interesting. They chart the entire harbor from the buoy all the way in. Let me get my other mouse here. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all be safe.
Yeah.
These in blue are the depths of the channel. And they did survey all the way up through, I think, that's Ray and Air, I know. There is some concern about, this is the port right here, our wharf. This is the end of it. These are the depths, and I think there's some high places in here, Chris, if you'll look right along here, that we want to get some maintenance dredging done, and we're looking into that. Hopefully, they'll come in soon and do that, but they had to get this survey done to figure out what the depths were. Now, Chris, this part up here, which is not nearly as deep, is part of the turning basin, isn't it?
No,
It doesn't go that far?
no, the turning basin is where it widens out. And the next section gives you the rest of the wharf and the turning basin. It's wide, really pretty much across from the wharf, the whole length of the wharf.
Yeah,
Turning basin.
okay.
We'd like to see it in a future study, we'd like to see it a bit wider. It's good for up to 900 feet right now.
Yeah. See if I can get the next one up. I think this is the south end of the wharf right here.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, there it is. And so we got plenty of depth there, it's no problem. My place right there. But that's not in our,
Yeah, outside the red lines would be outside the channel.
right. And the turning basin is right in here. Basically. Okay, so we're okay with that. We just need to get that maintenance dredging done on that small part right there. For some reason, it was a little high. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. All right. Economic development, we need to talk about that.
I think that's a needs for everybody and go our point.
Oh,
You did a good job.
yeah, we did. Emergency management, Commissioner Cole.
I got my badge today, so I'm a real one. But, Cosgrove, Director Cosgrove has resigned from his position there, and they're looking for a replacement now.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he was Homeland Director. I'm sorry, I'm losing his name here, but, he's the director that took place of, Foster Henry, anyhow, Cosgrove is left now. I've signed up for doing some volunteer days there, helping them scan some documents and stuff. So I'm helping out with times over the next couple of months.
Diana, TCC,
I didn't have time this week. I was before we do.
understand. TPO,
All right, TPO, I'll meet tomorrow, with them. The TPO will be coming to Callahan on the 16th and making a presentation. They'll also be going to Fernandina Beach on the 17th and making a presentation. Where? At Fernandina Beach, City Commission meeting. That's 6 o'clock. What date? On the 17th. I will be attending the one on the 16th. I won't be available on the one on the 17th.
What about the Callahan, we gonna be?
In the town hall.
I'll be in Orlando. My best 6 months.
Next week, next Monday. And then the 18th, the TPO will be doing one for the Board of County Commissioners here in this chamber at 9 o'clock. Pretty much the same presentation, but they're just letting everyone know what's going on with Nassau County. All the transportation planning, things we have in the works, findings and repairs. The one here will be on the 18th at 9 a.m.
What time is Callahan?
7 o'clock.
That is.
And that's it.
Mike, will you be there on the 18th?
I will not be able on
By 10 to 1.
no, and it won't hurt it.
Next week.
Now we hear the chamber.
All right, Nassau Chamber, Commissioner Hill.
Nothing you need to report there.
All right, City of Fernandina. Very good. You got anything to report?
None, sir.
All right, any other items to be brought before the board? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.